Hi, I'm Jennifer with Resilient Life Therapy, here with a lot of tips and ideas and concepts to hopefully help your life feel better today. So I want to talk with you about something today that is an issue for almost all of us, men and women, but women, we especially struggle with this one. And you may already know what I'm going to say. And that is we really struggle with how to say no. Most of us are just terrible at it, and it can cause huge problems in our life, right? We end up agreeing to things that either we don't want to do or we really shouldn't do, or are just annoying. But worst case scenario, we end up doing things that we really shouldn't do and potentially could get us into some trouble because nobody really teaches us how to say no. Now, listen, if you go and you Google, 10 ways to say no, or 20 ways to say no, or ways to say no, you'll come up with a lot of there's a ton of great lists out there with sort of back pocket phrases for how do you say no. And I'm gonna attach a couple of those down below, so check them out down in the comments about this video, the description of this video. But hey, there's no shortage of them. Go out there, find ones you love, and really do learn them and use them. So there's a lot written about this, but I want to talk about a core concept with this, because even if you have great lists and you have your back pocket phrases and you know what you're going to say, it still is a difficult endeavor. And why is that? Usually it's loaded for most of us. It's fraught because we don't believe that we have the right to say no. And that can be for a million different reasons, right? And for each of us, it's different things that get triggered. So anytime I'm with a client, we're talking about their difficulty saying no, we always want to explore with them, like, what does it mean to say no? What would happen? What's the bad thing you're afraid would happen if you say no? What are the meanings attached to saying no, to setting healthy boundaries? And it's usually something along the lines of, but then I'm being a really mean person, or, but I'm not taking care of people, but I'm not fixing the problem, right? Those are some really core and key things that show up for a lot of people, but there's a lot of other reasons too. So it helps to talk it through with somebody to find out like what's muddying those waters for you. But here's a crucial piece that I want to talk to you about today, and hopefully it will be helpful. And that is, I find that one of the biggest obstacles for people with saying no, and this is especially true for women, is that we feel like we have to justify our no, that we have to get the endorsement of the person we're saying no to. That we're not just allowed to say no with no explanation, right? I can't just say no. I have to somehow explain my no. I have to justify it. I have to, make sure I give a good enough reason. And not only that, but I have to get the person's endorsement. So we have to jump through all of these hoops in order to be able to say no. And we usually have so much anxiety about that we just want to avoid the no altogether. So one of the things I talk to people about is the importance of really leaning into and recognizing and realizing that you do not need to justify your no. So what that looks like is when we want to, when we need to say no or we want to say no, but we feel like we somehow have to justify it. We start, number one, to usually talk really fast. And we start to over-explain, right? So we find ourselves in kind of this pressured speech about why we can't say no. Well, I would love to do that, but you know what? I just can't. And I've got to do, my mom is calling me and I've got to be over there on Friday and I just don't know. Well, if I can get away soon enough, I'll do it, but I don't know if I'll be able to. And, I just have so much going on. You just feel yourself getting like, right? You can feel that pressured speech. You can feel yourself over-explaining. So that is the red flag that you are trying to justify your no, and that you are trying to get the endorsement from the person you're explaining to. So one of the secrets to being able to say no is to let go of your need to justify your no and realize it is okay for you to pass. And that's where the back pocket phrases come in really handy, because they give you a simple but elegant way to say no, right? One of them I think is like, thank you so much for thinking of me. I am not able to do that right now. Now, when you start to do this, and even if you've done it for a while, you're gonna have a little panic attack when you do this, because you're gonna say that phrase and you're gonna wanna keep on talking. You're gonna say, thank you so much for thinking of me. And that silence that follows is gonna feel super uncomfortable and super anxious, and you're gonna wanna fill it. So realize that the back pocket phrases are really crucial to have, but you have to struggle with this other piece. You have to marry it with this other piece that you have to really remind yourself in the moment, I don't have to justify this. I don't need to get permission to say no. I can just say I'm not able to do that, but thank you so much for thinking of me. And you'll be amazed, because people are usually fine, and they usually find some other way to get done what they need to get done. And if they're not fine and somebody won't accept your no, you need to be aware that that person is not accepting your no, and that that's not okay. So you need to really pay attention to what's going on with that, if that's triggering you to need to try to fix it with this person. And if that person is trying to steamroll over your no, you need to sort of think about why that is. So I hope that this is helpful. I would love to hear any thoughts or comments that you have in the comments. That was redundant, but I would love to hear your thoughts, anything you're thinking in the comments down below. If you want to find out more about me, just look in the video description down below, and it has the link to my website if you want to find out more about me there at resilientlifetherapy.com. I hope that you have a great day and practice saying no. It's incredibly freeing when you find out that you can actually do it with no drama. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye.